What is the most powerful trait we have? You need power, speed. Let your imagination do the rest.
Boxing King Media here with Mr. Jazza Dickens for the first time ever, even though we've been speaking for a good few years, but first time ever.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's not the first time ever though, because I watch the show all the time. And if I weren't on this one now, I'd still be watching it anyway. So yeah, it's good to be on. Thank you for coming down to the gym today.
Yeah, it's always good to know that, because I was speaking to Rocky Fielding earlier and he's saying he watches the Domingo podcast. It's mad how many people religiously watch that all around the world.
Yeah, I watch it all the time. But there was one episode where you and Dom started talking about me. Got a little bit wow, Dom's talking about me on it. But sent me out a bit west early. But yeah, it's great. I love the stories and stuff like that. And I'm just saying before, Adam Smith and Ryan Rhodes and Johnny Nelson goes on too. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Well, I'll start off with that, because that episode where I was talking about you, Jazza, we was talking about how is this guy still going. He's 34 years old, and in fact, you know what, I might give people a bit of an education here. I'm going to reel off some of the names you fought. I picked out 9, so I think there's 9 fights that you've had that are iconic. You fought Kid Galahad twice, Josh Whale, Martin Ward, Rigondeaux, Thomas Ward, Lee Wood, Ryan Walsh, Zelfa Barrett. In them 9 fights, you were either an underdog, but it was like a 50-50 fight, and you won 5 of them and lost 4 of them. That's pretty respectful going into them kind of fights and coming out with a winning record.
I don't know, yeah. I think fighters, they talk a lot, don't you, on Instagram. Instagram is taking over these days, and I think fighters are different. It does get on my nerves a little bit, because I think that the way it's going now, I don't think it's beneficial for boxers, you know, because you used to see old fighters, and they were just fighters, you know, and like, you say, do you want to fight this guy? Yeah, of course I want to fight this guy, but now it's like, well, what's in it for me? Or like, what's the risk and all that and stuff. And I get that, I get that. That's how you build a fighter, because I do manage fighters. But like, I think it's gone a little bit too far, you know. The pride of actually being a fighter and putting your balls on the line, I think that it's, I think them days are gone. I really do.
What I'm just curious to know, because we're going to talk about a few different things, but what's one thing, and if you could name one thing, is the reason why you're still here fighting at 34 years old, competing with like the best?
Yeah. Being at the top all these years later, I believe, well, it's a few reasons. I turned pro very young. My dream was always to be a professional, but I only had like 60 amateur fights, and 30 of them was for England and Great Britain. And by the time I was 19, when the ABA's at 18, 10 pro at 19, I didn't, you know, I was that kid, look, I've got piabs, pretending I've got pubic hair, but I haven't, you know what I mean? I was that kid, very immature. I didn't mature till maybe mid-20s. So that was one reason, but also living a clean life, you know. Living a clean life. I always train as hard as I can. I don't bevy, I don't drink. Last time I drank was probably like 16, 17, something like that. That was only a one-off, just to see what it's about, you know, when your mates when you're a kid and stuff like that. Never taken a drug. And I think that's a big one. I'm not going to go dark into like the illegal substances in boxing, which I am very against, but I've never taken a drug, not like that. And I believe that me lifestyle that I live and how I live, you can have like, you can eat good all week, can't you? And then you can go out over weekends and then you're not sleeping. I go to bed early, you know what I mean? I look after my family. I live a family lifestyle. I don't do none of the madness, yeah. So people say like, well, is your life just boring? Well, I believe that the Lord put a vocation on my heart to chase my dreams, which is boxing. So I just, basically the bottom line is I put it all down to the Lord, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Then I think that is the secret why you're still going. But you know, you've done a lot in boxing. When I look at your record, is it any of them fights that I mentioned to you there? You feel like the 4 that you lost, that you could potentially have turned it around if you did something different?
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, innit? It shoulda, woulda, coulda. And you could no, because then you can go like, well, the ones that I won there where I was the underdog, if I'd done something different, I should have lost, you know what I mean? So I just, like I say there, I believe in the Lord's will. Whatever the Lord has planned for me, it's supposed to be like that, you know, because fighters who are out there, young fighters now coming through, and you really don't want to lose that first fight, you know, and when you do, it's still painful. You don't want to lose your second one. I'm not saying that you do. Don't want to lose your 20th fight, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, like, when you do, if you do, not many fighters that don't, you get something. As my first loss was something like on my 17th fight against Kid Galahad, and what I learned from that fight, I learned just in that one loss than I would have learned from other fights of winning, you know. So maybe on the other side of a loss, would I change that? Would I go back in time and then not learn? That I think learning is more important sometimes than winning. Not all the time, but sometimes, yeah.
That first fight was pretty sick. You won't know this, but I was there ringside for that. It's what still to this day one of the best fights I've seen live. And also that night, I don't know if you knew on the night or not, but look how big they are now. Tyson Fury was ringside, Deontay Wilder, Kell Brook was there as well.
Yeah. Was Deontay Wilder there?
He was there.
Wow.
They faced off there, didn't they? They had a bit of a. I don't think Wilder was as famous. He was in town because he was fighting Audley Harrison a week later.
Oh, it makes sense now because there was someone at the back shot on Bomb Squad.
Yeah,
When he went no, but I didn't know that. But yeah, it was a good night. But not only was it packed in there, it was rivalry was bad, wasn't it? Not only between the fighters, the fans too. Everyone took it personal, didn't they? You know, so it was some fight, it was some event. It was on Channel 5, was it? It was. Yeah. It's done well on Channel 5 as well. And at that time, me and kids, Barry was both. We were in the run to be. What's it called when you get the it's like prospect of the year, sort of young up and coming fighter from the British Boxing Board of Control. We were both in the list, you know. And Barry got all the accolades from that one, yeah.
It was an interesting fight because obviously he was winning the fight and then obviously he turned it around and got the win. But and then just going away from that, this is another interesting fact I looked. Even when you go back to your debut, 2011, you debuted against Pavel Senkovs. I'm a bit of a geek, so I watched a lot of his fights. He was one of these journeymen that could actually fight, but he just turned up to get paid. But he knocked out James Tennyson. I don't know if you know that or not.
Yes. Yeah, I do know that because Pavel's he could wallop. He caught me in the first round, and it was like, this is the pro game, you know. Little gloves, knuckles. Now you can feel the knuckles through the gloves. And I thought, oh, it's on. Come on, let's go then. And he sort of just backed off then. I think he thought maybe I'm just here for the dough, and I don't need to get into a fight with him, you know. But I picked up a good lesson that night, and then he had his corner man shouting, "Good work, Jazza," and I thought, fuck off you, no time to slow me down, stuff like that. Just welcome to the pro game, yeah. Freezing cold that night as well. Yeah, Pavel Senkovs. And I know what I like talking about these people like Pavel Senkov, because they make boxing, don't they? Like, people don't see that, it's just a journeyman and all that. That's a terrible shout when fans, armchair fans, watch boxing and they say things like that, because they really do give you they bring fighters like me through, and without them fighters I wouldn't be, or any other fighter wouldn't be where they are, you know.
100%. I was just going through my phone and I found the pictures. So that was Tyson Fury, and that was Wilder on the same. So that was him on your fight night.
Brilliant, very good. It was in what was the place called?
Magna.
The Magna Centre, yeah. It was just outside of Sheffield, is it Rotherham? Is it?
Yeah, it's right in the middle between Sheffield and Rotherham, but it's like a dark, dingy venue. But like I said, it was a sick night. So. Was there any time in your career you've had losses, ups and downs, that you actually thought, fuck this, I've had enough, packing it up?
No, I remember being in the car. That fight was very played a massive part in my career, that because it took a lot to come back from that. I was winning fights, but there was something in the back of my mind. It took me years to find my confidence again. I was blagging it just because I had to act on what I believed that the Lord had set out for me. On the way home, I told me bird that night, I'm still going to be world champion, you know. Yeah. Don't let this upset us, and it was a tough time. The shame got me after that fight. I'm going back about the fight because it was so strong, that fight, in what it's done to me. It took a lot out of me, and that's what I want to say that message to young fighters. When you have a loss, if you can just go through it, and if you really have a belief that you're going to do something, stick to it, you know what I mean? No matter what happens, the ups and the downs, you just stick to it, you know, because like the situation I'm in now, I can't announce my next fight, but it just shows, like, if you do be persistent and you have that belief and you stick to it and you say, no, fuck what you say, what is right, what you say in the articles and stuff like that, and now the betting shop, they'll put you down as the underdog and stuff like that. It doesn't matter, you know, it's what you've got in your own heart, and if you can really believe in that, and you have a small circle of people around you who love you and care for you, and yeah, it's just
Talking of that, you know, you said about your next fight, you can't announce it, but I would assume from what I heard previously that obviously after you beat Zelfa Barrett, it's normal that the away fighter ends up getting contracted under the promotion, so you would have been contracted to fight for Matchroom. So what's the situation with that?
Well, instantly there was one offer, not an offer because it didn't materialise on my part or his part, but Ray Ford, the contract they had me under, it was very little money, but I had to take it at the time because nothing was happening. I think I've been out the ring a while, I don't know, or maybe I've been on smaller shows just trying to stay active, fighting for free basically, and I just needed that one shot, and he gave me the shot as Zelfed, and I thought, wow, I've got to take that opportunity because it's a Matchroom card, and Matchroom is a great avenue to go down. They got brilliant links in the world of boxing, and they're one of the best outfits in the world. So it was hard to take it because of the contract that I was taking, but at the same time, I had to take it because it was better than no contract. And
Can you tell us, give us an insight of what that contract was?
well, it says in the contract you can't talk about the contract, you know what I mean? So
There you go.
I wish I could, you know, but not many fighters would take it. You know what I mean? Like you say about the fighter, I say a fighter's fighter. I believe them days are gone because not many people would took a fight like that. You know what I mean? But then since the Ray 4 fight came about, I wanted more. He wanted more. He was getting a lot more than me, but he still wanted more. And it was his own yard in America, and it didn't materialise on both parts. And then since then, Zelfa, the rematch was, they said we're going to activate the clause on the rematch, and then Zelfa's moving up a weight, so if Zelfa's got a fresh start at a new weight with Joe Gallagher, I knew he was a bit big for the weight going into the last one. I think that he should do that. I think it's the right thing that they should do, him and Joe Gallagher, to make a new start and a new weight. So he said, all right, you can have a look at different options, yeah. And
So you, just to put it out there, you're no longer contracted to Matchroom, free to do what you want.
well, it's a grey area, isn't it? They said you can take other options, but then again, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I just believe the Lord is my promoter. I've said this before, and the Lord is my promoter, and whatever happens in life, yeah.
But I like the fact that you mentioned the Lord so much. It's good to hear because, like I said, it's good that you've got a belief and something that obviously keeps you strong and all that, and obviously gives you probably guidance for life. But you know, in the world right now, we see so much division when it comes down to faith, cultures, people. You see in the UK right now, right wing, left wing. There's so much shit going on. What do you think when you see all that? When you see the message, you know, from the Lord as you see yourself?
Well, if it resonates me, I feel like it's true, but it's hard for me to say he's wrong, or he's wrong, or he's wrong, because that could be me who's wrong, you know. And I'm always open to the fact that I could be the one that's wrong. But I don't believe I am, you know what I mean? I believe that the Lord's put me on this path and he speaks to me, and I try my best to listen to him. I fast so I can depend on him and pray while I fast, so I can really hear how he's talking to me. I feel like that's the best way to hear the Lord sometimes when we do fast. Now, the Muslims do the fasting every, well, sorry, what is the Ramadan? So that's a great way of getting closer to the Lord, isn't it? Your prayers are heard more, I believe, when you do fast. So that's how I try and hear the Lord and what he's got planned for me. So I just believe the division, it's caused by ignorance. I do believe it's ignorance. No, people aren't open to this stuff, you know what I mean? I am a Christian, but I speak to my Muslim friends, you know what I mean? And I learn my best. Just ask them to so I'm always open, you know. I've learned a lot from Muslim friends, and I just believe that one day we're all going to end up in the same place, or the same two places, you know. One Lord do that, and the opposite the one with the Lord. So yeah, I just believe it's sad the way it's going, you know. And I think that a lot of people use their own agenda in life, and they put their own religious spin on it. Because if it was religion, and that was the bottom line of why people are acting in the way that they are, we just all love each other, wouldn't we? And that's the bottom line, yeah.
As you said there, both of them religions teach love your neighbour, and if everyone loved their neighbour, the world would be full of love.
Yeah. That's religion, innit? Don't tell me that religion's fighting, murdering, genocide and all that stuff. That's where we're going here, innit? Like what's going on in the world right now. And we use religion to put a mask over people's agendas.
100%. I definitely agree with that, Jazza. That's it really, man. I'm trying to think. So we know you got something coming up fight-wise, which you can't announce just yet. So I wish you all the best on that. But it was a pleasure speaking to you out here in Dubai. And it's beautiful gym, the Golden Ring.
I know, yeah. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate you. I appreciate the channel. I appreciate what you've done with your channel. And yeah, thank you for having me on. It's one of the fastest growing boxing channels. You come out of nowhere at one point and then bang, but you're probably working behind the scenes for years, weren't you, before I seen you come out of nowhere. But yeah, it's a great channel. Thank you for having me on.
I appreciate that, and also shout out Jazza Dickens' YouTube channel. I don't watch a lot of YouTube content. I do tune into your chats. You give some good accounts about boxing behind the scenes. So just let them know your account is Jazza Dickens. It's just literally your full name, isn't it?
Yeah, I think is it? Yeah, just Jazzas Dickens. Yeah, it's not a YouTube. It's just me talking boxing, trying to experience and stuff like that. And the managers that I fight, I try and promote them on there and stuff like that. Upcoming fights, keeping people in the loop rather than getting back to the same message all the time with different people on social media. Because once you, as you know, I don't scroll back for messages me because you get that many. Scrolling back, I'll be there all day. So just try and do it that way. Yeah.
Jazza, pleasure speaking to you, brother, and hopefully I'll catch you soon. I'm not sure if I'll make it to your next fight, depending on where it is, but yeah, thank you for your time.
What is the most powerful trait we have? You need power, speed. Let your imagination do the rest.